Hey guys, I'm catching up with Bora for a quick recap of Sri Lanka's game against Australia. Unfortunately, we lost to Australia by 7 wickets. Batting for Sri Lanka got 154 runs, but Australia chased down the score in 17 overs. It was an easy chase for them. We had a good start in the power play. Then we lost our way there, isn't it, Bora?
Yeah, unfortunately, the result didn't go our way. We were up. It was a late start for us watching the game here in Melbourne, but we were up for it off the back of some of the wins we were getting. So unfortunately, it wasn't the day for us, but something for the camp in the Sri Lankan team would be to forget about this game really fast and focus for the next game or the rest of the tournament, because in short tournaments like this it's hard to delve on the result. I know it's disappointing not getting the win, but we just got to keep moving with what we've been working on. They've set plans, they have identified, just they got to keep on with it. With our batting, it was good to see we started strong, but we seemed to fall away from the middle overs onwards, and we couldn't get on top of it. I think we were about 10-15 runs short. So far, the teams chasing seem to be in a stronger seat. So this is the first time for us we've had to bat against a strong team in the group stages. So ideally would have loved to be chasing against Australia, but didn't go to plan. I think we can start from the batting with our batting. Things were, I think it's set up well, just coming off the power play when Charit and Kusal got away, and a plan I think was identified was to go against the fifth bowler, which was a mixture of Maxwell and Stoinis, which paid off. We scored at a good rate against them, but then I think we couldn't get away with Zampa, which kind of trickled through to the rest of the bowlers.
Yeah, so he bowled his 4 overs for 12 runs, taking 2 wickets, and he bowled most of his spell to left-handers, and he bowled a lot of googlies, and we couldn't get him away. And without Bhanuka's 33 in the end, we couldn't have made it to 154, so we lost our way in that middle overs. So that is something we'll have to look at going forward in this tournament.
Yeah, spot on. I think we've seen it so far. Avishka hasn't come to the party yet, which seemed to trickle down the floor. It was the players around him. Bhanuka stepped up, got the score going, but we were just 1 over short from having that big score. If that over came in around the 9th, 10th over, would have been a good charge for us. But unfortunately, that was the lacking. We saw Dasun come in and also struggle to get going straight away. So he ended up eating up a few balls, 15 runs short, because once Australia got ahead at the chase at the start, it kind of settled up. But if we had a bit more of that runs there, it would have had that extra pressure on them.
Yeah, we started with Charmika in the chase, and Australia got to a very good start. We depended on our fast bowlers to make the breakthrough, but that didn't come off, and in the end they got the score easily. Matis Deekshana played the game, and we expected him to be the surprise element in this game, but he couldn't take a wicket. But Wanindu Hasaranga took 2 wickets. Our fast bowlers didn't deliver.
Going into the bowling setup, we could have slightly changed it. This is the first time we've seen, I think that's the over-reliance we had on Mahesh coming into the game. The excitement was Mahesh will run through, but we've got to go through the processes for Mahesh to be more effective. There was the setup at the start, whereas in this game, Mahesh came in to bowl in the second over itself, whereas we've seen he generally bowls on the 3rd, 4th over in the game.
Yeah.
So we kind of threw the dice or showed the trump card pretty early up, and they managed to capitalize. They capitalized because of the first over where they Finch managed to get away 2 fours, and again a small error there from the bowler where we know Finch is struggling against the ball coming in. The 2 balls that came into him, he couldn't hit it. I know it was hitting him high on the legs, but I would have still kept attacking the stumps. Whereas Charmika was, it looked like he was trying to get it away,
Taking it
swinger go
away.
in and then he got away,
Yeah.
and that's perfect for Finch. That's
What
all he needed to get away.
what could have we done differently? Should we?
I think we could have. We could see the plan was to get more close onto the stumps for Finch, because the way they were, the when Charmika peeled, as soon as it hit the pads, was like, yeah, that was what was discussed in the game. But we were trying to double bluff by,
Hmm.
because Finch also knows it's going to be a straighter ball onto the stumps.
Yeah.
We are trying to double bluff and go with the outswing, but it's a high risk return scenario where, number one, you got to get your lens full a bit more quicker to double bluff that ball like that. I would have preferred him staying on off stump, even if he can't nip it in, at least stay on that off stump just to trouble Finch. But it was short and wide, it just freed up. That's what Finch was looking up. He has had a terrible run leading up to
Hmm.
this, and that was just the perfect two deliveries for him to get off. What could we
Yeah.
have done different? I think in the game of cricket, we can keep analyzing so many scenarios, because these scenarios we haven't seen it in the game.
Yeah.
Whereas the result which happened, we can analyze and say we could have done it differently. I guess our matchups going into the bowling attack was to have that two pace bowlers at the start and the
Hmm.
spinner. We could have done that. Another toss up would have been to give Dushmant the new
The
ball
new balls.
just for that
Yeah.
extra pace, and he generally would be able to beat Finch in. But I think the way the tournament was set up, Charmika was always given the new ball, so I understand that.
Hmm.
Maybe Dushman to the second over and the Mahesh the third over, just because it's 155. You got to drag the game out a bit rather than losing it at the top. And I think that's where we lost the momentum, because
Yeah.
if we, kept the runs low, we knew our spinners could have bowled together and built it up. So we kind of
Hmm.
tried things a bit too early. That's how
Yeah.
I saw it. The importance of, if we would have gotten this game, the win aside, would have been it sets us up well,
Yeah.
because we see England seems to be ahead of the pack, really,
Hmm.
really far ahead. So it's almost looks like England might secure that one spot.
Yeah.
The second spot is up for grabs at this
Hmm.
stage. Was before Australia, Sri Lanka's game was Sri Lanka, South Africa, and Australia. That's how the pecking order was.
Hmm.
But Australia slightly pipped ahead now. The matchups we knew, because Australia's fast bowlers were trying to hit that back of a length
Back of a length,
mark.
especially Hazelwood.
Yeah, but we were good on it to a certain extent, because Stark was trying to hit that back of a length, but
Hmm.
you could see Kusal straight away onto it. He loves that back of a length
Yep.
ball. He was able to get under it and go for
100.
it.
Yeah.
So we seemed to be getting there, but what Kusal got was a pretty good ball. That's
Yeah.
one of the, I think, similar to how Stark got Ben Stokes in the in the
Yeah.
one day World Cup.
I mean,
Those are the things we could have changed, but we can't overanalyze it going into
yeah.
the next game, because if we go to keep changing situations a lot, what we've built over the last month, especially in October, where we've won more games than the last 2 years of T20 cricket we've played for Sri Lanka, it drops away. So
Hmm.
we got to stay in that moment and play to the
Hmm.
scenario we know. We've managed to find a way to win out of a lot of failures. So we'll have to go with the same process in the next game, is how I see it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't think we can't change this team. Like, as you said, we can change the batting order a bit by putting the guys who are in form up the order. Like, even Charmika Karunaratne can come in when it's needed, like, because he has been hitting the ball well. So, in this
Yeah.
game, that 15 runs did the difference, wasn't it? So, even Dashun has to thinking while on the field rather than going with the set plans. Maybe Mickey has to put out a few numbers like England do. We saw against West Indies, England's stats guy put out a few numbers just to we didn't know what it was, but maybe he needs some help from outside, seeing things differently.
Now, spot on. We've got a more mature captain who's led the team over a number of time, and there's talks of this being England's best ever, limited over or shorter format teams. And on the back of it, Oy Morgan has support from Nathan Lehman, who's the team analyst, who seems to be. It's been used in the camp over time where they're using coded messages to indicate certain stages of the game. What it is, we are trying to decode as we go along. There's a lot of thoughts into it, saying it could be the phases of the game, what bowlers have to come on, or the field settings. But it's to support and say, it's not saying you have to do it. It's saying this is what's happening. Have
it as an option.
Yeah, from a bird's eye point of view, because in the game, once you're in the field moving around, you don't have time to see, understand what's the flow is. So a stat from outside might trigger out something as a way that we can go ahead,
This tournament moves on pretty quickly. So we are playing against South Africa tomorrow at Sharjah. So I don't think they'll change the team. And any thoughts about that game?
Yeah, strong game again. Unfortunately, we can't afford to go drop points in this game. That's the nature of the tournament we are in. That means if we drop points from here onward, it means it's pretty much knockout, or you got to win the 2 games.
And we'll depend on others to lose.
You have to depend on results going your way, and a lot of X factors, which it's very hard to go from there. Setting up against South Africa, we played them a lot. I mean, we've coming off a series against them. So not sure if Quinton will play the game, which means they've got a heavy right-hand top order. With the bowling, similar to what Australia offered. It's that back of a length, just the high speed, and Shamsi as the spinning option. So similar games. That's why it would have been ideal if we knocked out Australia. So that means we play a similar matchup again, and we're in sync with what needs to happen. But nonetheless, again, it would be a close tussle out there.
Yeah, it's a small ground as well. So we did chase down Bangladesh's score of 171 in this ground. So, and our top order in form, and Avishka is due for a big score. He hasn't really done anything in this tournament. So we'll have to get these 2 points tomorrow.
We are hearing thoughts of Charmika. I mean, we've seen he's in more batting form, so not sure if he'll be pushed up the order. It's a settled batting order with what we've got. We've just got to be able to see if we're on top, if we got the momentum, we shouldn't be scared to make that change. That's
the other thing is, Bora, this batting order, they're facing better bowling attacks now. Right? We did win games, we've been winning games, but it's you're gonna get lesser loose balls, and they'll bowl a lot of varieties, and it's hard to get away. So that's something we'll have to deal with. Even with bowling, you have to mix things up. I mean, you'll have to find that length as quickly as possible, otherwise they're going to punish you, because you're talking about quality players, and it's going to get harder from here. The sooner we adapt, we'll decide whether we'll go further in this tournament. They have the confidence. You can see when they're batting, especially SriLanka, even Pathum Nissanka. Kusal Perera showed a little bit of confidence as well. He's getting into a bit of a rhythm. What we need is someone to continue and make these 30s into a 70, 80 like SriLanka did against Bangladesh, isn't it?
Yes, spot on. I think because we're playing against full member nations now, top quality attack. South Africa, again, the same. You've got Nokia, who's clocking close to 150. He's the quickest in the comp. And then you got Rabada, Shamsi to back him up. And I think Keshav Maharaj as the left-arm spinner. That's a quality bowling attack. We knew coming into this tournament that we are punching above our weights.
Oh, absolutely.
In terms of the teams, but we've strung some good surprises, good wins, and we are playing some good cricket to watch.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. You talked about fast bowlers, Australian and South African fast bowlers. Our guys clocking 152. It's just like getting the balls in the right areas, and and the follow-up balls, which we haven't done that regularly. That's why we got punished.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure the boys are working hard going into the game against South Africa.
Anything else we missed before you wrap up?
A glaring one was the fielding. We saw
the big mischance.
The media, the mischance. it should be taken as well,
Oh,
playing against games like that.
there's
So
no point talking about it even because it's one of those things no one's going out there thinking about missing a catch. I mean,
yeah,
that's easy as you can get. Sometimes these things
momentum
happen.
shifts against teams. Watching that, you're wondering, how does it happen? It happens in sport. Unfortunately, it happened at a time when we needed it most. I
Yeah.
mean, we can all smile about it because the umpire's finger was going up, say and he's dropped the ball. That's how it looked. It looked so
No.
easy in that aspect, but we could have. We would have the team would have loved for that to be
No.
held. On to the
It
next
happens.
game.
That's it. Okay. Let's wrap it up, Bora. We'll catch you guys after South African game. Chat.
Hope for a win.
Yeah. See you soon.
So yeah.